Floyd, you're very ungrateful. How am I ungrateful? How am I ungrateful when I just said I don't see the cash app that you donated? You're lying. I donated for the Africa and he never went because I never raised the money. The money is still on the GoFundMe. Like, I don't know if you see that, but the money is still on the GoFundMe. I haven't even raised enough of it to go to Africa. It's been since I put the fundraiser back out in like November, and I've raised nothing for it. A couple $100, but that's not enough. So, yeah, the goal was $3,000, but it was really was 15. But unfortunately, I never raised the money. Ungrateful. Ungrateful. All right, you're banned.
Hi guys, I have been watching Floyd since he popped up in Europe to stay with Aston there. And when I compare how he was in the beginning means when I started watching him, in the beginning and now, it's obvious to me that this guy is deteriorating mentally. He is coming undone mentally. When you watch his live now, most of the time he spends it yelling at one person or another. To be sure, Floyd likes yelling at people. I mean, even in the beginning, he was yelling at people. He likes to yell at people. But in the beginning, was not as bad as it is now. Now it's almost like, he cannot do anything except yelling at this person or that person, or picking up a fight with this person or with that person. To the point now his own subscribers are complaining. They're like, you're always screaming at us, you're always yelling at us. So it has become almost the only thing he does on live. And when he is on live, on camera, you could see that he doesn't smile as much as he used to. He is super short fused. Like I said, he just screams at people on the smallest of mistakes they make. So it is obvious this guy is coming undone mentally. He is deteriorating mentally. And I know why he is deteriorating, and it is because of stress. He had a lot of stress now. He is financially stressed. His dating life is stressing him. I mean, he was on live today or yesterday, and this other guy was I guess he has lent Floyd some money, and the guy was asking for the money back, and Floyd was telling that guy to wait until the 23rd or the 24th, because that is when he gets paid from YouTube.
I haven't got it yet. You'll get your shit today, Dion. You'll get it today. You'll get it today. I haven't got it yet. You'll get it today.
It tells you how tight his finance is, that he has to wait for a payday to pay, what he owes. And if you watch his lives now, he spends most of his time begging for money. I actually made this video talking about how bad his finances are right now. And the reason his finances are so bad is not because he doesn't make, good money. It's because he spends more than what he earns. And I mean, it's so sad, right? Because in a lot of the world, especially in the part of the world that passport bros like to visit, people are financially stressed because they do not make good money. But here we have Floyd, he says he makes $3,000 a month, which is a lot of money for, if you are going to live in Brazil and other poor nations. But because he is spending, overspending, his finances are in a really bad situation. And when your finance is bad, it causes you stress, right? And if you have stress from one area of your life, it is bad enough. But for Floyd, the stress is not just his finance, right? It's not just coming from his bad finance, right? It's also coming from his dating life. He was on live either today or yesterday, one or the other, and he was saying how he is not, dating has not been as good as he thought it would be. In fact, one of his supporters or his followers, who was on the panel, said that it has become almost a routine now where Floyd will go to a country and he said, oh, the dating there is perfect, but then he stayed there 2 or 3 days and then he starts to complain about dating, how bad the dating has been there. Take Brazil, for example, right? When he first, started out in Brazil, he was talking about how fabulous dating life his dating life there has been. But as time went by, he started to complain. He started to complain that the women were flaking on him. The women were actually, some of them were just dumping him. Some of them were abandoning him halfway through the date.
I think Brazil is more for Austin than me, though. Honestly, I mean, that's
What's for Floyd?
what's up.
What is for Floyd then?
The Philippines, Asian countries.
We got a few super chats. Gary Reed says women don't like passport Pookie Floyd.
Well, I'm not a passport pookie, so.
Renee Stiller says Floyd, stop lying. You just be yourself and women run away. Then you cry when they leave. You're a Pookie and still entertaining nonetheless.
I'm not a pookie.
So, if you notice that in the earlier days of his time in Brazil, he had a lot of women coming on his show, but as he stayed there longer and longer, we saw fewer and fewer women. And he was on Aston's live saying that, a lot of the women were pulling back from him, that it has become harder for him to get women. So I think that by itself is, a cause of stress for him. Then he went to Chile and he said he didn't have one single date.
Yeah, Chile's horrible, man. Chile's horrible. It's not even. I just gave up approaching and trying in Chile. They flake, they ghost, they flake, they ghost, they lie, and that's what they do here in Chile. Unfortunately, they'll set a date, and it's like Argentina. Like and it is close to Argentina, so that's probably where they get that from. So
I think he was supposed to have a date with this psychiatrist. I don't even know why, a professional would want to go out on a date with Floyd. But he said he had a date with this psychiatrist and she flaked. So it has been, his dating life has not been as smooth as he thought it would be. And I also think that being with Aston is also causing him stress because Aston is very judgmental. This is the guy who was sitting there and counting how many times Kesa washed her hands. It's like, yeah, so being with Aston is very stressful. So he has stress coming from all directions. And let me say this, the stress is on. It's stressful, but it's not that bad, right? It would not send normal people into the mental deterioration that Floyd is going through. But because normal people have, good coping mechanism, they know how to handle stress, but Floyd doesn't have that. Floyd has very limited mental resource. He has very limited coping mechanism. He has very limited coping capacity mentally, and that capacity is being stretched over the limit by the stress he is going through right now. And the result is, he, like I said, he is deteriorating. He is coming undone mentally. And you know what? I blame passport bros and the Black Manosphere for what is happening to Floyd, because the Black Manosphere and the passport bros convinced people like Floyd that they don't have to work on themselves to find dates. They told people like men like Floyd that the reason they are unable to find dates, they are unable to get into relationships in the West is because of the Western women, that there was nothing wrong with the men themselves. The problem is all the women. The women are the problem, not the men. They told them that, the problem is not because the men refuse to have good hygiene. The problem is not because the men refuse to have good interpersonal skills. The problem is not because the men refuse to have good social skills. The problem is because Western women are modern. They do not respect men. They do not respect relationships. That's the problem. And they've been telling these men that if they went to the global south, if they went to Brazil, if they went to the DR, if they went to Colombia, if they went to the Philippines, the women there will take care of them. The women there will be gladly and willingly submissive to the men. They were telling these men, these Western men, that the women in the countries of the global south are, almost like heaven. They will not have the same, they will not place the same expectation on the men that the Western women do. And, Floyd bought that. Floyd believed that. And he went to, Brazil, he went to the Philippines, and right now he's in Latin America, and he is finding out that from country after country that the women in the global south also want the same thing that the women in the Western world do. The women in the global south are just as materialistic as the women in the West. The women in the global south expect their men to have good conversational skills, to have to be socially skillful, to have good interpersonal skills, just like the women in the West do. And when people like men like Floyd will realize that the women in Brazil, in the DR, and everywhere else are just the same as the women in the West. That creates a lot of crisis, right? A lot of existential crisis that causes a lot of mental crisis for them. And like I said, the Black Manosphere, the passport bro, are selling, are to blame for this, right? Because they keep on selling this lie. Remember when Floyd went viral with this video where a Thai woman, a Thai sex worker, was pretending to be a submissive housewife, I guess, or future housewife, talking about how she likes to cook, clean for her man. And when that video went viral, one of the people that made a reaction video was MTR, who is one of the leaders of the Black Manosphere. And
a young brother like this in the States, you could tell he's exceptionally forward regarding his intentions
There's nothing
of
wrong with
wanting
that.
love and wanting a family. In the States, a man of his personality, characteristics, and traits will be labeled as a lame, would be labeled as corny, as reasons to disqualify him. But instead of dealing with the bullshit, my young brother went abroad and found himself a nice little tenderoni abroad.
And MTR in his reaction video made it look like I mean, if you listen to him carefully, you would realize that MTR kind of said that Floyd is socially awkward, and that quality would have disqualified him from, relationships, from having, relationships in the West. But the brother went to the Philippines or the Thailand, I guess, and got himself a beautiful woman who is going to look, who doesn't even care that Floyd doesn't have good social skills. That is what MTR said, implying that, men with bad social skills, with bad interpersonal skills, all they have to do is go to, the Philippines, Thailand, and all those other countries, and they will find a date. They will find beautiful girls to date them, beautiful women to date them, beautiful submissive women to date them. So they were, MTR was selling that lie. And that lie has probably inspired so many men like Floyd to decide to live their life in the West and go to, Thailand and all those other countries, believing that they will find beautiful submissive women who would like to date, socially awkward men like Floyd, and we know that's not, that's just a lie. And the irony is that the video MTR based his whole, rant on is actually a lie, right? Because that woman, the woman in this video, is not a submissive housewife or a submissive future housewife. She is a sex worker. She was saying whatever she was saying because she was paid to say it. So, but a lot of the Western men struggling to, to find dates here in the West do not know that. At least didn't know that at that time. And they probably believe that, if they went to Thailand, they are going to find a beautiful woman like this one who is going to submit to them, when in reality, this lady is not a submissive woman. She is a sex worker. She is just acting. So anyways, let me know what you think. Thank you. Bye-bye.